Max Cameron, and I'm the director of the Center for the Study of Democratic Institutions at UBC. And I gave a presentation today on the role of the city councillor. And the argument that I made was really inspired by conversations with Sam Sullivan, is that the city councillor is both a judge and a legislator. And this creates a bit of a confusion, particularly when you get to public hearings, which are mandatory and required whenever there's a land use decision. So the problem is that if we want to achieve eco-density, then we have to look at how we hold these public hearings. Public hearings in which council members are put in a position in which they're often targeted by neighbors who resist development. There is often great resistance to higher density in certain neighborhoods. And so the phenomenon of NIMBYism, not in my backyard, kind of often expresses itself. That is, people may agree in general with the principle that we need more high-density development, but in practice they don't want it in their neighborhood. And because councillors are elected officials, when they're in public hearings, they often are in a difficult position of having to weigh what they think is right for the city as a whole, what's in the public interest, how do we achieve sustainability, how do we achieve principles of good planning on the one hand, but on the other hand they need to be sensitive to and responsive to the pressures from constituents. And so they're in this awkward position of both trying to think about what are the right policies, but at the same time they need to get reelected. It might be easier, and we might get better deliberation and better policy if we separated the legislative and the judicial roles that council members currently perform. Make councillors truly legislators and create deliberative mechanisms for informing their deliberations, informing the policies that they create. And then turn public hearings over to municipal courts that would be presided on by legal experts who would then make assessments about whether a particular development is in line not only with policy but also doesn't violate any fundamental rights of citizens or neighbors. And that kind of separation, I think, might actually help us to achieve more eco-density and at the same time reinvigorate and re-engage people with municipal politics.